The Lost Rewatch continues. We got 2 episodes to talk about today. I'm joined by Caleb Woods and Patrick Cotnoir. Did I say that right?
No, you got it.
Cotnoir. I practiced it and I still screwed it up. But we're going to talk about Enter 77 and Par Avion. But when I was watching these episodes, Caleb, you requested this, right? These 2 episodes?
No,
you didn't?
Oh,
I'm sorry. Because I'm like going,
not me.
I go, there's no Juliet in this episode. Why did he?
Yeah, that should have been a red flag right there. Like,
okay.
No, she's not in the first 5 minutes. Why did he?
I kept going. I go, why did he request this one? I must have I read that wrong. And well, anyway, thanks for joining us.
I think I requested Left Behind and One of Us, which are both pretty Juliet centric. So.
Okay, well,
but yeah, I don't know if I'm on those or not. That's okay. Okay.
Juliet was there in spirit.
Right? Yeah,
yeah. But I remember watching, going, "There's not 1 second of Juliet in this." Because I can't remember. I remember the episodes, but I can't remember, some of the side plots and stuff like that. And I go, oh, I think I even wrote that. She's not in any of the episodes. But Patrick, you're a big Lost fan. But how did you get into Lost? What's your Lost?
Yeah, I mean, it premiered. This is gonna make me seem like a child, but it premiered when I was in like middle school, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. And
that's making me old.
I know. I feel bad saying it, but it's okay. My grandma started watching it first, and she loved it.
Oh, really?
And she watched all of season 1, and at the beginning of season 2, she I guess the DVDs had come out, so she gave me the DVDs. And while season 2 was on, I was watching the DVDs and I was watching it live in season 2 at the same time.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow. The whole time I'm like, where's Boone? Where's Shannon? Like, I didn't know that they had died. So I was doing this weird catch-up thing that finally worked out. But yeah, from pretty much season 2 on, it was, full steam ahead. And haven't looked back since then.
So you've been a Lost fan since you were like, what, 12, 13?
Yeah, probably 13. It was 2005 I probably started watching, somewhere around there.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
2005. I was 40 something. So
yeah. See, there you go. We can't all be 14.
I'd rather been 14 watching Lost.
I mean, listen, it was a game changer. It was like it was one of the first things that I was like obsessed with, like in real time, because
right.
I was obsessed with Star Wars and stuff like that, but it was already out. Right. So like. And it was also, with you guys and with other things like the podcast boom and, being on forums and being through all that kind of stuff. It was just such a game changer for someone who was, coming into his own at that point, and, getting really, really into stuff, really way too into stuff. But it was a blast. And I miss TV being like that. I feel like I haven't had the same experience in a while.
Where you get obsessed with something.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, I watched that episode 3 times before the next episode comes out, and I listened to 7 podcasts about it, whatever. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I feel like you don't have that communal experience anymore, and it's a bummer. And maybe it didn't really happen apart from that show, and maybe like Twin Peaks or something like that. But yeah, I miss it. But it was, it was a blast while it was going.
Yeah, maybe it'll come back someday.
I hope.
I thought we had 2 pretty good episodes to talk about, even though it doesn't have Juliet in it. Now, Enter 77, I just have to say this right now. I've always been considered a Locke basher, where he's not a great leader. He's selfish. And this episode, I thought, really showed that.
Yes.
Yeah.
If there's anyone in the chat right now that's a Locke fan, and I'm a Locke fan. The show doesn't work without Locke, but in this episode, he's a jerk. Mm-hmm. And I want someone to say, okay, I'm wrong, and defend him.
I'm normally very pro Locke, and it was funny watching this episode. I was thinking that exact same thing. I was like, oh yeah, this is the run of like 4 to 5 episodes where I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like, he's gonna blow up the sub, and he's gonna blow up the building, and he's gonna blow up all this stuff, and I'm like, come on. It was funny watching it, like, and remembering, oh yeah, this is part of that really tough time where you can't really defend him that much.
I mean, they're in the it's the flame station, right? They're in the flame station, and they have Mikhail, Patchy, whatever you want to call him. They don't know if he can be trusted or not. And Locke, even though he knows he's being watched, decides to play chess on the computer.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to have the upper hand, but he gets distracted. I got to play some chess. I get distracted. But he knew he's being watched. So I don't understand what his problem is.
Yeah, so like I wrote in my notes, I put Locke's stupidity gets him caught. His blind belief works out sometimes, like in the instance of following the bearing, and then it went to, Patchy's house. Right. And then I said, but sometimes it doesn't. And then in parentheses, I put chess game. And that's just in this episode.
Carol in the chat asks, was this before Locke was MIB? Yes, he wasn't Man in Black yet. And Ethan said, at the time, I thought he was insane, but looking back, I can understand somewhat.
Why, Ethan?
Yeah. Explain yourself, Ethan.
Yeah, please.
We still think he's insane.
Well, he didn't want to get off the island.
True.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, did he blow it up did he enter 7-7 on purpose, knowing it was going to blow up? Or did he just get tricked into doing it?
Yeah, I think once that building blows up and you look at his face, it looks very real. Like he was not fully expecting that.
Well, he took the C4.
Right.
True.
He took the C4, so he did know. And then he's going to use that C4 to blow up the submarine.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like he's already starting his, starting fires.
Yeah.
type of thing. And he's getting more and more dangerous to the point that he's, about to kill people for his cause or whatever.
Yeah.
And I also thought it was interesting that I'm so sorry. It just vanished. It just vanished. Go ahead. I'll think of it.
Well, what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say.
It happened. Is it contagious?
We're doing this live.
Is it contagious? What?
Oh, Ethan said because.
Yeah. Because I thought it was interesting that Patchy or Mikhail or however you say his name, he started to he was like and did not finish saying lies, paralyzed about the John Locke he knew, and then Rousseau was like, "Hey, over here."
Mm-hmm.
But I think that it's another instance of Locke is just not telling the truth. Like he's not being honest. He's wanting to shush people up because after he found out about that, of course, he shoved him through the sonar fence thing. But sonic fence sonar, but no, I thought that was another instance of why can't you just tell people?
Right.
Yeah.
But that's Locke. That's what he does.
Kind of.
Season 1, he knocks Saeed over the head to, stop the transmit.
That's right.
The signal. Right. So he eventually admits it. But I remember what I was going to say, because remember a few episodes earlier, he's all about. Yeah, anybody can be part when they went to go to the Pearl Station. Anybody can. This isn't when Jack was running the show. Mm-hmm. Anyone can be part of it because Nicky and Paulo came along and they said, we're never invited. Well, now you can be invited because Locke has a different attitude. He seemed to be upset with Saeed the whole time. Like Saeed was running the show. And I think John felt he should be running the show, but Saeed was the one in charge. And I don't think Locke, again, I always said he tells Jack, you have to be the leader, yet he did everything he could to undermine Jack as the leader.
Yeah. But I think we probably all know people like that in real life too, where you're
and I don't want to be around.
You want to be number one. You don't want to say that.
Right. Nobody wants to take on the job as number one because it's hard.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Ethan said because he wasn't being used by Man in Black. In the end, he's being played by the island. I mean, Jacob, he's being used to keep people on the island. Yeah, but again, that's not his choice, though. I mean, it's not his decision to keep people on the island. And that's why I always said that Jacob was not a good guy, because he brought people to the island against their will, and a lot of them died. People didn't choose to go to that island for the most part.
Sometimes people just act irrationally, and there's not a real reason for what they're doing because they think they're right. And I think that's John.
I wonder if Ethan is referring to like how the smoke monster / Man in Black manipulated Locke kind of very early on by showing him a bright light and making him think it's special, and Locke wanting to keep everybody on the island.
Right. But what John saw was something beautiful, and everyone else was terrified.
Yeah.
Because like when we see Echo was seeing stuff that was nightmarish. I mean, it was stuff that he had done, and it wasn't beautiful. It was stuff that scared him. So,
yeah.
So I'm assuming that's what everybody saw.
No, Jay, did you say the comment?
Ethan says, no, he's a total not nice guy. Talking about Jacob.
Yeah.
And then Carol says, I'm still curious what was manipulating John at this period on the show. I think it again, what you said, Ethan, it was what he saw and he believed in that the island, and he lost his faith a little bit at the end of season 2, right? He lost his faith.
The hatch, yeah.
And then he regained it when he saved Echo.
Yeah.
He's still thinking, Boone died for a reason. Well, now Echo's died for a reason. Let me follow his, stick in his, Bible verse or whatever's written on there. Anything and everything that comes across his path, he's just grasping at straws. And, it kind of, if you're familiar with The Leftovers, by Damon Lindelof, it's all about a show kind of about belief and what you believe and the things people cling to when they're going through extraordinary circumstances or trauma or whatever. And I think it's important that, we note that Locke is always doing that and trying to find the meaning behind everything.
Right.
Because he thinks the island is there, for a reason, that he was brought there, and his purpose, obviously, because, he was paralyzed and now he isn't anymore. He would obviously think that. But as we're beginning to see, he's getting way too deep, way too far into it.
It is a shame that he could not just go off on his own and live a Danielle-esque life where he's doing his own thing. It would have made life so much easier for so many of them.
Yeah, because like you said, Caleb, he crashes on this island. He's in a wheelchair before he gets on the island. He can't walk, and suddenly he can walk again. And also, it's a perfect situation, like you're saying, Patrick. He could survive on this island by himself.
Yeah, no question.
He trained for it. He was in Australia for a walkabout.
Yeah,
and he literally lands on an island. It's not Australia, but it's still it's still somewhere where it was his perfect situation. Mm-hmm. And again, until he sees Smokey, he's kind of normal. But once he finds that, and then the hatch, it just sets him off in a direction that
there's enough things that keep pushing him off the deeper end, and then keeps getting deeper.
Yeah, because you can see it when he's looking at and he's like, should I play this chess game? Should I not play this chess game? Oh, they're watching me, but should I play this chess game? I'm going to play the chess game. And then even Mikhail Patchy comes in and goes, it cheats. You can't beat this, egging him on because like he says, he knows all about them. They have the history. They know what his weaknesses are. They know what his strengths are, and his weakness is he's gullible.
But he does fully think about it for a while. He looks at it and he's like, I don't know if I want to do this. Where I feel like at other points in the show, he would have just straight up gone for it. He would have just been like, yep, I'm doing this.
He's not there yet, but he's about to be.
because he probably knows we don't know who, I said earlier, we don't know who this guy is.
Yeah.
I need to, there's two of us. There's Kate and Saeed, but Saeed's been shot.
Yeah.
I should probably be a backup for my friends, but he gets just pulled into that. Again, you think once I saw the camera on me, I'd be like, okay, I'm not playing this because they're going
to going on. Yeah.
Like they did in that hatch before.
Yeah.
It just
doesn't want to learn.
No.
Well, there's like this whole fight scene that happens just like seemingly next door, and he's still playing the chess game.
Yeah. Well, he had to make his move first. Then he comes in and goes, what?
I know.
And I hate to bash Locke because people go, you hate. I go, no, it's just he's like, again, this show does not work without the John Locke character.
Yeah.
He's so fascinating and he's so frustrating at times, but and of course Terry O'Quinn's a fantastic actor, so it all works. But yeah, I just like you said, Patrick, we all know somebody like that, and those people drive me crazy.
Yeah,
just literally drive me crazy. But
yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to bash him the whole time.
I feel like you might, though. I feel like
well, it's always my argument because people would always argue with me when we were doing the podcast. I go, no, he's selfish. He's out for himself. He doesn't have any right to tell. If he wants to stay on the island, stay on the island.
Yeah, totally.
Stay on the island.
Yeah.
But you don't have any right keeping me on the island.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You should have been there. You could have told him that.
I would have, as one bald brother to another, I would have. I do like the side story. The ping pong table side story was.
It's fun. I didn't remember those being in the same episode.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny because Sawyer is upset. Everyone's taking his stuff again. Yeah. They've taken his stuff. They thought he was dead, so they and what was it? Nikki goes, "It wasn't your stuff to start off with." They always gave her lines like she's just yelling at people, and then he goes, "Who are you? Who are you?"
Yeah.
All of their lines were setups for "Who are you?" I don't know. Yeah.
And then the audience was what the audience was saying anyway. But I like that they make a bet not to keep all the stuff, but he can't use nicknames for a week.
Yeah.
Well, he would have gotten the stuff back eventually, anyways.
True. Yeah. And then Hurley's the guy that takes him out.
Yeah, he's a ringer.
And then, of course, you got the comedy where he can't use, he tries to give a nickname and they go, like even in Par Avion, he goes, Claire.
Yeah.
But was he upset about his stuff, or was he upset that he cared about what was going on with Kate?
I mean, I don't know if those two things are mutually exclusive. I think you could be a little bit of both, but I think he's always a little upset about what's going on with Kate.
Well, that's the human heart.
Sorry.
I was like, who else is on this call?
I was like, no, stop that. I think he's always a little upset about what's going on with Kate, but that's his stuff. That's his stuff. Yeah. Like his stuff. I don't know.
Because again, in the last episode, he was upset that Kate wasn't was Trisha Tanaka is dead, and he gets the Dharma beer, and he is upset that Kate's not. He's worried about Kate.
Yeah.
So you never know with Sawyer because he doesn't really share his feelings until he meets Juliet, right?
Yeah. As I've said before, I don't really like Sawyer until he is with Juliet. I said in my notes, Hurley is still trying to make others happy with a ping pong table, and Sawyer continues to be an ass. So,
is there anything that you do like about Sawyer before Juliet? I'm just curious.
Like before she came into the picture?
Before Juliet comes into the picture.
No, I mean, I just I've lived in Alabama my entire life, and I was bullied a lot. So like I don't know if this is like, the whole thing or not, but he kind of embodies this, redneck bully mentality, and he's just mean to everybody, like senselessly. There's a lot of times like, God, that's just terrible. But my mom was like in love with him. And, I know a lot of people like really liked him. So
yeah.
But he was always just he was getting in the way of like Jack trying to do stuff.
Yeah.
And that would always just get on my nerves so bad. But
they were according to Sawyer, they were best friends. That was his only friend on the island. That's what he said. That's what Sawyer said. Now Jack kind of looked at him like, really?
Yeah.
Carol asks, is his accent accurate? Sawyer's accent.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how different, my voice sounds to his. We've got a lot of pollen here right now, so mine's, I think, a little deeper than normal, but I guess.
It's a good answer.
Gail
His
says we
attitude
like,
is the same.
yeah, Gail says we like the bad boys, so that's true. And then Ethan says you all need LaFleur.
Yeah, for sure.
But I've always said about Sawyer is that he wanted to bring people. He was so full of hate that he wanted to bring people. He wasn't happy unless everybody shared his hate.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted people to be as miserable as him. It's like when he's being tortured by Saeed. He wanted Saeed to feel bad, as he does. He'd take getting his fingernails ripped off as long as Saeed felt bad also.
But again, I think I'll say it again. I feel like we all know people like that to one extent or another. So it's easy to, some people can relate to that because they're like, oh, my brother's like that, or oh, my mom's like that, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are times you do, the first 3 seasons, you do kind of see a Sawyer. There is like a heart there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not often, but you kind of see it, and then he reverts back to. It's like when him and Kate, got together, and then I said this last week. The whole time she's calling him James, 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 James. They get back to where they're in, striking distance of the camp, and he becomes Sawyer again, and she turns around and goes, "Okay, Sawyer." He's reverted back to being Sawyer.
Yeah,
because he's got to put on that that shield or whatever you want to say that he's this terrible guy. And I thought it was a great line that she goes, she went from James being a better guy to Sawyer being the jerk. And that's what I thought it was brilliant writing on the part of Lost with that. So.
And it only takes him a few years to get out of that.
Yeah. So anything else we want to talk about this episode? I mean, there's a lot going on. I mean, you had Saeed's backstory, and I completely forgot about that. And I go, oh, that's right. He gets kidnapped and chained to the floor because he tortured Sammy's wife.
Did he though?
Well, he admitted at the end.
He did. I still am not on the. I think he may have admitted it just to put her at ease, and I'm moving on. And that's it. You're going to let me go. I'm going to say I did it because it will make you feel better. I don't know. That was sort of the reading I took away from it, but I've come down on different sides each time I've watched it, I think.
What do you think, Caleb?
Wow. Well, I mean, honestly, this time watching it, that thought actually crossed my mind is he telling the truth, or is he just saying that to appease her? But she was so sure that she remembered his face. And so I thought it was, I guess the message that they were trying to convey is, Saeed is always, we've seen him torture people, a lot. And we know that that's who he is and he's getting better or whatever. And a lot of his flashbacks have to deal with that. And the problem is with this episode, they kind of showed you like, oh, he's innocent. He's innocent. He didn't do that. He's not as bad. But then at the end, he does admit it. And so you're forced to flip your thinking and be like, no, he did do, really bad things. And I think it's kind of a reminder of that.
Yeah,
well, I think he says he's haunted by it. I do see your face. I do remember you. Because I thought the same thing at first. I go, is he just saying this to get out of it?
Yeah.
But I fall on the side that I think he did do it, just because I mean, Ben Andrews is a great actor anyway. But is Saeed a great actor? I mean, he was very emotional. It just I couldn't imagine doing that and then having to live with yourself afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, he's living with a lot already. So
right. I mean, it's just
one more thing,
I mean, burning someone, he burned her with hot oil, and I don't know how
Yeah.
someone does that, but he's.
But listen, we all know people like that.
You can only say that about so many characters until it doesn't work anymore.
I gotta say, I've never met a torturer that I know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think I have. I don't know.
There are very different forms of torture, though.
Yeah.
That's true. That's
many
true.
different
True.
forms.
That is true. I didn't think about that, but I did. I do like it. I thought it was a great scene between, and the cat's name was Nadia. I thought that was funny. Now, do you think he told him it was Nadia because he knew Saeed's background?
Well, I was also going to ask.
Oh,
Wait, does Mikhail acknowledge the cat? Yeah, he does.
He says it. He says it's Nadia.
Because I was going to say, was he imagining the cat on the island? But yeah, if he acknowledges it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, does Mikhail? That's who you're asking?
Yeah, I couldn't remember if Mikhail had said, "Hey, look at this cat over here," or if it was just Saeed seeing it.
He says it's Nadia, and
you're right.
Saeed goes like this, and we know, because later on, Mikhail does tell, that he does know what's going on. So
yeah,
does he call it Nadia just to mess with getting Saeed's head?
The others are known for their mind games. So.
Right.
And at the very beginning of this season, we see that they have files on everybody.
Right.
So,
I mean, what are the odds this cat's going to be named Nadia?
Yeah. Well, Nadia Comaneci. He loves Nadia Comaneci.
Yeah, of course, one of the greatest athletes ever. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
I remember I loved Mikhail so much. I was such a big Others fan that that I love season 3 because there's so much like other stuff going on. And I was so psyched whenever he would show up in an episode. I just thought,
he was Russian, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, wouldn't he, instead of picking Nadia Comaneci, wouldn't he pick Oba Korbut?
There's the question.
Who was a Russian gymnast, who was the first real gymnast that people went, "Oh my God, she is." So I'm just saying. I mean,
right.
Nadia Comaneci was a great gymnast, perfect scores, but Oba Korbut
he's no Oba.
Yeah, she was great in her as well. So I'm going to say I'm going to fall on the side that he
knew
to play head games. Anything else? And another thing that bugs me about Locke, he's playing that stupid game, like where Mikhail is tied up, but Kate and Saeed are looking for the other person, so they're vulnerable, and he goes and plays the game again. And Mikhail gets loose, puts a knife to his throat, and it was Clue that was in the Miss Clue that was in the
basement or whatever. Yeah.
Basement. So again, that's where Locke is like, you got to have my back.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Yeah.
He's not caring about that stuff. He's not thinking about that stuff. I think he's so laser focused on like, hey, this is what I want to do, so I'm going to go do this. You guys can deal with whatever you got to deal with over there, and it's a bummer to see him.
He was so proud
on everybody.
He was so proud when he beat the game too. It's like,
yeah.
Good for you.
Did it.
You helped this mission a lot.
Yeah.
But Miss Clue, she speaks Russian, so going back and forth, and then Mikhail, he shoots her.
I want more Miss Clue. Not enough Miss Clue.
Mm-hmm.
Why did she have to be? Nadia Comaneci is Romanian. Carol says that's right. I think I said Czechoslovakian, but Romanian. I was close.
Yeah.
So why did Miss Clue want to die?
She doesn't want to be on that island anymore. It's time to go.
Or she didn't want to be considered a failure, maybe?
Sure. I mean, she seemed very hardcore. She seemed like she was all in, straight-laced, But yeah, I don't know. I'm bummed you don't get to see more of her. She doesn't come back ever. You don't really get to find out what her deal is. And I feel like most of the other ones, like, you sort of figure stuff out. But she always interested me, and it never came back.
Because Kate was upset when she saw her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said Kate was really upset when she saw Miss Clue.
Right.
She was on the dock when everything happened.
Yeah.
She
was in Glass, the movie Glass from last year.
How was she?
Yeah, she's like a therapist or something, and a psychiatrist.
Huh.
Fun fact for everybody.
I did not know that.
Yeah, there you go.
I wrote down that I said, how brainwashed must these people be to like voluntarily, kill themselves, or like that was the option that she saw to be the easiest for some reason.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have just both been hostages and tried to, manipulate I mean, it's 2 against 3, really. So,
but if you're brainwashed into all that stuff, sometimes you take the cyanide pill and that's it, and that's what you were taught, and that's how you're conditioned. And Mikhail sort of has a similar thought pattern where he's like, "Kill me,
yeah, I don't care, kill me."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because he goes, "I'm not going to show you where to go," but then of course Said has a map.
Yeah.
A map that Locke doesn't trust. So anyway, but I just it must have been that she didn't want to go back to New Otherton or whatever. Mm-hmm. What do we call it? Darmerville, New Otherton.
Yeah,
the barracks.
Yeah, the barracks. Yeah. Maybe it'd be like, I've let Ben down.
Sure.
So I can't. So I'd rather die.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough mindset to get into.
I did like the scene, because Rousseau was there with them,
right,
before they went to the house, and she said, "I've lived on this island so long simply by avoiding situations like this." And she's like, "Peace out. You do it. Whatever you got to do. This little side quest on the side, and I'm going to just stay over here." And I thought that really said a lot about her character, and that is how. I mean, 16 years.
Yeah, that's how she's
just
you believe she's never seen it?
That's what I was just going to ask. That seems a little far-fetched.
Oh, the house or whatever?
Yeah, never come upon the house before?
She never came across it, ever?
Yeah.
Didn't she say she hadn't? Because he said, "Is this the radio tower?" And she's like, "No, I don't know what this is."
She said she didn't know what it was, but I'm like going, how did she not? I mean, she's pretty much searched the whole island, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that, after 16 years, you don't know if you're going or coming. You know what I mean? So I don't know if she knows where half the stuff is.
Yeah.
Or if she's been there before. So.
And then at the end, it blows up. Mikhail smiles, and Said just looks at John like, "What did you do?"
Here's my question: what happened to the cow?
Oh, that's true. And the horse.
And the horse, yeah.
Yeah.
Cat's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the cat's okay.
The cat's fine.
Rousseau was like, "If we have a map, why keep him alive?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. They really shouldn't have, because he goes on to do a lot more worse things.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know.
Well, what she was right, and then what Said said, we're not killers, and maybe that's where you see the flashback is because he's trying to make
amends with his past.
Trying to make amends in his past, and that must have been what the key of the flashback was, because probably old Said just would have killed him.
Yeah,
right.
Would have tortured him first and then killed him, and this one he keeps him around. And Kate says, "We don't kill people."
Yeah.
Well, Kate, you've killed people, so.
It's your whole backstory. That's the whole.
But she's on the island. Things have changed.
Yeah.
We all know people like Kate, right?
Yes.
Is that how it goes back?
I thought there was another good line when Hurley said to Sawyer, "I know you're the kind of guy who needs stuff."
Yeah.
And I think that says a lot, because that is Sawyer. If you watch the show Hoarders, you see that people kind of have these lack of connections in life. And so they connect with, objects and things and items. So I think that's why he's so, protective over his hoard, because it's really all he has when he really doesn't have a lot of interpersonal relationships with the other castaways.
Yeah, that's true. And he can also use it to have interaction with people, though, when he can say, "Yeah, I have a pregnancy test. I have magazines." Well, he didn't want Pablo's magazine.
Yeah.
He'd been in the and going to the bathroom.
You take the magazine, you get the toilet paper. So
Yeah,
maybe that's
exactly. That's a win-win. And as we know, that's gold today. But overall, I thought it was a good episode. Anything else you guys want to talk about that one before we move on?
No, it's a fun episode. I like it.
The last scene is it where
Saeed admits the truth.
For some reason I had written down we see Jack playing football, but that's the next episode, right?
That's Par Avion.
Okay.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Every time I'm on here, I'm like finale.
Well, going to it's an interesting because we get a twist with Christian Shepherd being Claire's dad, but we start off with Claire's been in an accident and she's got jet black hair, and so what did we think of that at first? Do you guys remember when it came out?
It does make her look a lot younger. Like I feel like it's one of the things that actually, like, sometimes the flashback wigs, they have a reputation, but like that one, I'm like, yeah, it works. It looks better. And it puts you in a very specific period of time too, I think. Where you're like early 2000s, great.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they really wanted to be like, okay, teenage angst.
Yeah.
Black hair, piercings, tattoo parlor. I hate my mom. I hate everybody.
Because especially that's what we find out
right now.
why they had an accident. She's screaming at her mom.
Yeah.
They're fighting, and it probably distracted her mom, and that's why they had the accident. So
yeah.
And it's a horrible thing to say. Is you never want to tell a loved one you hate them, and then something happens, and that's the last thing you say to them.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I know I always tell my wife, if we've been fighting and she's going to bed mad, I go, remember, I could die in my sleep tonight. And I lay down, she's like, Anyway, it works. It works pretty well, but I'm not suggesting everybody do that. But it just. And then we have Charlie. He's finally not moping around. He's got a nice feast for Claire. I thought it was a nice dinner. He's got a picnic planned and everything. Yeah.
What's so bad is it's been a while since I've seen this episode, and I'm not a Charlie fan. And I was like, Charlie is actually being tolerable, underline, and then it was like only for the first 5 minutes of the episode, and I was like, scratch out. I have more to say about that.
Well, to be fair, especially right now, he knows he's going to die.
He's got a lot going on. You guys got.
He doesn't know how, but he knows he's going to die. So we got a little sympathy for him, right?
Yeah.
I think the issue is that him and Desmond are keeping it a secret.
Right.
Charlie's trying to, live and be better, and he was on the path of being better. And I think had they not thrown in the, Desmond continues to have visions of Charlie dying, they kind of, did that overkill, I guess. But I don't know what I was saying. My mind's in 1,000 different directions.
I feel like keeping that a secret was probably the right move. I don't know if that's something you can tell everybody. Well,
they do at the end, and
right.
she believes them. So I guess I was like, if they would just be honest with her, because she's like, why are you lying? She knew the whole time that he was lying, and then it was just another like Claire and Charlie are arguing again. That's great.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the problem with all the people. They don't communicate. They never communicate. They don't. They lie. They try to keep things from other people. They try to keep it. If I keep this from him, I got an advantage.
Yeah,
I got some leverage. But I think Charlie was. I think actually Charlie was probably trying to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he didn't want to scare Claire, sort of. You know what I mean? Like that's a big. Be like, hey, I know you maybe love me. I don't know, but I'm gonna die, so don't get too close.
So, Aaron, don't get too close to me.
Yeah. I'm
not gonna be in the picture much longer.
Yeah.
I wrote. I'm looking at my notes. I wrote Locke is cranky, and I don't know what that. That's all I wrote down. Locke is cranky.
That's just always in your notes every episode. You've told me that before. It's like the first thing you write down. It's your number one note on every episode.
Could that be when they're near the pylons? Maybe I'm trying to think of what happened early in that episode.
It was. He was just. I think he wanted to kill Mikhail, right?
Yeah.
Why we bring him along, and he was fighting with Saeed.
Yeah.
Well, Saeed was like, "Aha! You have C4 in your bag," and no, it wasn't an accident. You acted surprised, And,
we'll talk about it later, John.
Yeah.
And then Charlie's got the picnic. He's got the bowl of cereal because now they've cut the coconuts. Or whatever, it looks like coconuts or whatever they are, to be bowls of cereal. It's like they've entered the. It's like the Flintstones or something. It's
that's how you know it's real when you get the half coconut.
Right, but then Desmond comes up and goes, "Hey, Charlie, we're going hunting." And Charlie's like, "I don't want to go hunting." But then Claire sees the birds, and she runs away anyway. And Charlie's like, "Going, I guess I'm going hunting."
Yeah. Now, what do you think Desmond was going to prevent by taking him hunting? He's clearly like, you're going to die if you stay on this picnic.
Yeah, something was going to happen to him there.
Yeah,
they were going to go on a walk, right? Probably.
Oh,
He was going to bang his head
on the rocks
and break his neck.
Oh yeah.
So that's going to be rough for Desmond too. You keep seeing visions of someone dying all the time. It's like,
someone you don't even know that well.
Yeah, it's like die already.
You have to be a good guy and be like, I'm going to stop this.
But he can't stop it forever.
Yeah, it's true.
But that has to be frustrating, though. It's like, oh, there's another vision.
Yeah.
Charlie's getting his neck snapped on the rocks. I gotta deal with this.
After a while, I imagine he would probably just give up. Where he's like, just please, come on. Sorry.
Because, what's her name? I'm drawing a blank on her name.
Nikki, Libby.
No.
Rousseau.
Off Island.
Penny.
No.
Eloise.
Eloise Widmore.
We're gonna get these.
Yeah, thank you. She tells him there's nothing you can do. It's going to happen. It may not happen. You can prevent it one day, but it's going to happen somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, but Claire, we go back to the hospital. Claire said she was the one driving, and she clearly wasn't.
Yeah.
Right? Or was she driving?
I don't think she was driving. Right? Wasn't she in the passenger seat?
Trying to remember. I think she was the passenger. I think she just said she was driving.
Yeah.
And the cop wasn't very friendly.
No.
I mean, considering her mom's in surgery, she's been in an accident.
Yeah.
He just was very.
But do you think he knew she was lying, and that's why he was not being super helpful?
Well, you can say, okay, she's lying, but still the situation. It was almost like he had Jack's bedside manner.
Sure.
Just matter of fact, bump, bump. So I just, I wrote down I didn't like the cop's attitude.
I don't know if she was driving or not.
I was trying to look. I can't.
I can't figure that out, but I think that's important because I never picked up on that if she did lie. And why would she? What's the reason behind that, we think?
I thought maybe the mom had been drinking or something, but I guess not, because we find out at the end it was just they were fighting. Now it's Australia. Does Australia drive on the?
That's a great question.
The road. I mean, I know England does.
So I'm pretty sure they do. And it looks like on Lostpedia the picture shows the passenger seat. Yeah, she was thrown through the passenger seat.
Okay.
So I think Claire was driving.
Oh, Claire was driving, so she wasn't lying. Carol says, I still don't get the dynamics of the Claire crash. I think it's because at the end, she was trying, she says, Charlie, I'm going to help you.
Mm-hmm.
because she screwed up with her mom and said, you know, the last words your mom heard were I hate you, I don't like you. So I think that's, and JMT14 says Australia drives on the other side.
Okay, then that would make sense.
So Claire was driving.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So get this American out of me and say she was on the passenger side.
Yeah, so she really messed up. That's a tough thing to live with. So that makes sense that she wants to at least try to help Charlie, you know?
Right.
You don't want to have two of those on your conscience. And
that's an interesting line. We go back to Mikhail, Kate, and the gang, and he tells Kate, you're not on the list. You're not on the list, Kate.
Yeah.
You're flawed.
He said, you know, none of them are.
Yeah.
That they were flawed, angry, and weak.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like, it was what Jacob said. I mean, we talk spoilers here, right?
Yeah, you can talk whatever you want.
So, like in season 6, the episode "What They Died For," Jacob, you know, tells them, Kate's like, "Why did you bring us here?" And he's like, "Because you were flawed. You were like me." And then here, you know, Mikhail is saying, "You're flawed. You're not on the list." So, whose list is Mikhail going by? Probably Ben's, and Ben we know is not getting any accurate information from Jacob at all. So
Jacob
that's
trust Ben.
Right. What about you?
Yeah.
What about you?
Carol asked who was the weak one. It was Saeed. He said Saeed was weak, right?
He's, let's see, flawed, angry, and weak.
Yeah, angry was Locke.
Yeah, it had to be.
Flawed was Kate, and weak. He turned to Saeed and said, "You're weak," and I'm like going, "Weak."
Yeah.
Huh.
Probably because he wouldn't kill him.
Oh, good point. Didn't think about that.
Mikhail would see that as a weakness, that they're not killing me, they're keeping me alive.
That's a great point. I never thought about that because I'm thinking of all the people there, I would never say Saeed is weak.
No.
But you're right. Mikhail would consider that a weakness. Huh.
Good guy. Thank you. Good guy.
Yeah. Then they see that I think this is when Russo sees the pylons. And I remember when that episode came out. Oh my God!
Yeah,
it keeps smoking out. What is it going? Because they keep saying hostiles. We keep hearing hostiles. Are there hostiles on the island? You know, at that time we were asking those questions. Are there hostiles on the island? And the hostiles are Ben, right? He's the one going around killing people. But I just thought that was I remember being fascinated by that. Oh my God, that was such a big deal when that happened.
When they walk out, it's such a great shot, and you're like, oh wow, there's so much we still haven't seen. Just like getting the full picture of that, and then you see it on the map, and it goes around the whole circle. You're like, Jesus, this is big.
Now, going back to Russo, didn't she not? She never saw those before.
I think she had to have.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, she went crazy. So, you know, do you factor that in, or do you factor in the fact that she just kind of remained in her little bubble or her little area and didn't venture out much, and that's how she was able to stay alive?
Well, I guess so.
How long have those? Well, I guess the pylons have been there since the 70s. So,
yeah.
It's probably set up by the Dharma Initiative. Right, I think we find out that, right?
Yeah,
that sounds
later on. Carol asks, is going to sound like a dumb question, but is there technology real sonic pylons? Yeah, I would think so, right?
Sure.
Electric fence, electric.
Yeah. I don't know to that extent.
Yeah, but
yeah,
I'm sure they have it now.
Yeah, and definitely what he said was a security system, like it would trip you like that for sure exists, but
But then with security system, I remember when he said that, we're all thinking, because Rousseau calls the smoke monster a security system, so we're all thinking, oh, that's what it was. It was to keep Smokey out.
Yeah.
Which would make sense.
Sure.
More than the hostiles, because there were no hostiles, right?
Everyone throws around the word hostiles a lot, and it's very hard to keep track of who is the hostile.
I forgot exactly how long, we had to wait to see Rousseau reunite with Alex.
Yeah.
And I thought it was, they don't until the finale. But I thought it was interesting that, Kate was like, "Why have you not asked anything about her?" And Rousseau said, "Well, imagine if Jack 16 years from now wouldn't remember you. I haven't asked any questions about my daughter because I don't want to know them."
Yeah, I mean, Kate was being very judgmental, and I thought Rousseau kind of put her back in her place. And Kate's like, "Oh, yeah, that was awkward."
Yeah, it is wild that they don't meet until the finale because this is episode 14, and there's 22 episodes. That's a long time.
Yeah,
let's keep that going. Yeah,
but I like how Rousseau put Kate back in her place. Yeah, I mean, I get Kate asking the question. I probably would all ask it. It's like, you haven't asked anything about your daughter, what she looks like, but you see Rousseau's answers like, I don't want to, I may not want to know the answer. I mean, who wants to, after 16 years, your daughter goes, well, you're not my mom.
Yeah.
I was raised by Ben and I love him.
So
it's a dad.
Yeah. I mean, it's easier
didn't happen.
It's easier to set yourself up not to be disappointed. And that's what you
did.
I think it was so like uppity of Mikhail to, say you can't understand. And Kate was like, why, or I can't remember the exact words, but he was like, you're not capable of understanding.
Right.
And Kate's like, why am I not capable? And that's when he goes into you're flawed, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, God.
A lot of attitude on Mikhail.
But again, I think that's what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was either egging them on to try and shoot him, to kill him, or to just get in their heads and mess with them.
Yeah.
Because that, again, I think one of you said earlier, that's what the others do. They get in your head and get in your head and get in your head until you just go crazy. So
yeah.
We go back off island, and Aunt Lindsay doesn't seem like she's a fan of Claire's.
Gosh,
Claire,
is she not?
yeah.
She's a.
Where did you go? I had glass in my hair. I went home and took a shower. Mom was in surgery.
How could you?
Yeah, it seems like Lindsay's got a lot going on, and it's tough to.
Do you think she was jealous, and maybe she had eyes for Christian?
Oh, interesting. I never thought of that.
I don't think so, because back in season 2, when he's on his escapades with Ana Lucia, he, stops by the house, and you see, what's the aunt's name? Carol.
Lindsay.
Lindsay. You see her, and I mean, she does a great job of like, get out of here, you're not welcome. And I think she was protecting Claire, but I think it was probably, she was being really protective of her sister who was, in a coma right there. So maybe in the heat of the moment, she acted that way. But I think maybe we could look at her as a character who fights strongly for those she cares for. Maybe. Okay. I don't know. At first I'm thinking, gosh, she's so evil. But then if you think back to the season 2, the drunk dad who's never in the picture is showing up. All these.
I want to see my daughter.
Yeah. And she takes care of Claire in that instant. So
okay, we'll cut her some slack, because I just thought.
I feel like overall she's probably in the right.
I can understand Claire, though. You got glass in your, but I guess if my mom was in surgery, I'd probably stay I don't have hair, so it wouldn't be an issue. But I don't think I'd go home and shower.
No, I think it was another teenage angst. Thing.
But unless someone told her like she'll be okay for now, you can go get cleaned up and then come back.
But how did she? Her car was destroyed. How did she get home?
Yeah, that's
Take
true.
A cab, I guess.
Cab, yeah.
There was no Uber then, so she couldn't Uber.
That thought crossed my mind. Yeah.
Then we have a great scene with Claire, Jen, and Son. They're trying to catch the birds because she has this plan to catch the birds, and I actually thought it was like I said. That's a great plan. Of course, Charlie's being Charlie Downer.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I don't know. I'm going to die again because I got to go hunting with Desmond. Blah, blah, blah.
I love how the show ends, but there's a little piece of me that wishes the show ended with just like Bernard building the rocks in the sand or something, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that worked. Great." Like, and that's the finale. They got it.
Well, I had kind of a cool thought about, them sending the message with the birds, which is, beautiful at the end. I loved Charlie reading that.
Yeah.
But I thought, what if, because if the island's in a bubble and you can only get in and out with that specific bearing, those birds are just flying around. So what if Claire, during her time of, being on the island, wandering around after they left her, what if she comes across that note in the jungle and it just makes her even more crazier?
Yeah.
I don't think she needed any help
because she also was the one who found the message in a bottle.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
she did.
It would also bring that kind of parallel into, that was something else they sent out that she found. And then, so I thought that'd be
maybe the birds have some way of getting up. Maybe they have a way of getting off the island. Maybe because animals have this.
Yeah, I was going to say once you get a certain altitude, you can.
They know when there's an earthquake going to happen. They can predict certain, obviously, storms and stuff like that. Maybe they had the bearing with a 305 or whatever it was. Maybe they followed Michael. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it is a good point, though. It's just, but at this point, she doesn't know. None of them know that they're stuck there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think if Locke would have been there, he probably would have shot all the birds? Just saying.
You gotta eat.
Probably.
Yeah.
I get it.
threw all his knives at him.
Yeah.
Right. But then we got Desmond, who they're about ready to catch a bird. I don't know why they were counting to 3, though. 1, 2. It's always a rookie mistake. Just pull the trap. You got the bird.
Yeah.
Pull it. But Desmond shoots the gun, saying he was going to shooting a boar, but Claire doesn't buy it.
No. No, I mean, listen, he was very close to that beach. He definitely hurt them out there. It was it's not a great excuse. You could have said, it went off accidentally or something.
And those boars are not quiet.
No.
You hear those. You can hear those boars coming.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So Desmond, not a good liar.
Come on, man.
No.
We go back and John's getting upset, and he just throws Mikhail through the force shield. And Mikhail, looking back on it, did Mikhail have something in his mouth to make him foam? Because we know he does
too, though.
Yeah, but we know he didn't die.
I know,
right? We know he didn't because that became the thing. Is this guy not human because he's indestructible?
Yeah,
right. Didn't he get harpooned or something too? And,
yeah.
And dude just wouldn't die.
Yeah, it's the one unanswered question from this show. Why didn't Mikhail die?
Or did Mikhail, did he have something? Did he stage it? I don't know.
Did he have something in his ears?
When you go watch it, it's really
blood.
gross.
It is
the blood
gross,
works out of his ears.
Oh yeah,
It's
okay.
wild.
Or does the island heal him? Does the island bring him back? Does the island bring? That was a theory too, that the island keeps bringing him back to life.
Yeah.
I don't know why the island would bring him back to life when he's such a terrible person.
And surely Jacob wouldn't have had a hand in that like he did with Richard.
Carol said he's a Bond villain.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've always, because when it comes to him, it's like, all right, how does he keep surviving?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It always bothered me. But
but maybe there's not a reason, something. Most things they fully explain, and then this one thing you're just like, I don't know. It's just the way it is, I guess.
Yeah, we just have to accept it.
Yeah.
This is when they find out that, because they go, "What did you do?" They're all mad at John. What did you do? And then they grab his backpack, and then that's when they find the C4.
Yeah.
He goes, okay, maybe I didn't know it was there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got these.
Caught me. I don't know.
The on island parts of these 2 episodes are just like a continuous story, I feel like. So I kind of have been talking about things
That's
that
fine.
happen later.
When did the submarine blow up? Is that the next episode?
It's
pretty soon.
Yeah, it's pretty around this time. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just seemed like it was a lot of things.
The Man from Tallahassee, that episode.
Which
I'm pretty sure.
That's the next episode, yeah.
Then we have I wrote down Claire is mad at Charlie again. They're fighting again.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think she had again. I think she's in the right because he has lied to her before. She brings him back. She brings him back into her circle with her and Aaron.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to have a liar around my baby, Charlie. I'm not. And
He's not wrong.
But you can understand why Charlie's not saying anything.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where they're going, I see Charlie's side, but obviously Claire doesn't know that. So.
Sure. I mean, so many interpersonal problems could be solved in this show just by talk to each other. You guys both tell each other everything, and it'll be fine.
But that takes away the drama.
Of course.
We gotta have that.
That's with a lot of shows.
Young Claire comes in, and there's a doctor. One of the nurses says, "I like the doctor in there." And she's like, and it's Christian Shepherd.
Yeah. So
Christian Shepherd has been taking care of the bills. He's been doing all this different stuff. Aunt Lindsay doesn't like Christian Shepherd. He goes, what are you doing here? Get out of here. And then Sophie goes, I'm your dad, Claire.
Yeah.
Because Claire thought her dad died when she was 2, but that's probably the last time Christian was around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had another family. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I get why Lindsay's mad at him, and I get why, I understand why they don't want him around. He's not necessarily how do you say, a good guy.
No.
I get it.
And was Claire better off without him? Because we saw how Jack turned out.
Yeah.
Now, would he have been better towards Claire, or was he just hard on Jack because that's his son and that's just probably how he was raised?
Sure. I mean, you could see him treating Claire a little bit better because he would only see her once every 6 months or once every, he's the fun dad who comes in from America and wants to have fun for a few weeks. Yeah.
Or if he was around her all the time, would he have treated her better than he treated Jack?
Maybe.
Because there never seemed to be any connection between Jack and Christian.
Yeah.
As far as any kind of love there.
I think he saw a lot of himself in Jack, being the doctor and being the very similar personalities, whereas Claire, it's my daughter. There's not a ton that they can at least see.
I think you see Jack's first. I think it's his first flashback where he steps in with a fight, and the kid says, "Stay out of it, Jack."
Yeah. And
then Christian gives him crap for actually doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Trying to help his friend. And Christian goes, "You need to just stay out of it."
Yeah.
I had a kid on my table no older than you. He died today, and I got to drink my scotch and watch Carol Burnett.
Yeah.
So. I don't know. I always wondered if he would have treated Claire better.
Yeah.
If he was better all the time.
I mean, he's not mean to her in this episode.
No.
And this, I think, is the only time you see them together, right? So you sort of have to go off of this one interaction, which is probably not how it would have been full time, but
Well, he does, basically recommend just killing Claire's mom, and he's like, there are ways around it other than just pulling the plug. And I'm like, what are those ways? What are you talking about?
She says he says your mom doesn't want to live this way.
Yeah.
Mm.
But how would he know? He's
not been around, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I think it really, to me, every Disney film has a meaning to it, a moral to it. And I feel like this episode, and it's the same with Lost, really. And I feel like this episode is really discussing false hope and whether that is the equivalent of hope, if it's a lie, if it's morally, right. What do y'all think about that?
I'll let Jack take that.
Well, yeah. But I see where you're saying false but doesn't the mom live though?
Yeah, we'll see. That's the thing is, the dad.
I mean, Claire doesn't know.
Yeah,
right. But the mom does, because later on we find out she's alive.
Right.
Does Kate or anybody tell her that when they get back to the island? Because they know. Like Kate knows.
No, nobody tells her when they get back to the island.
The mom came for Aaron, right?
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mom came for Aaron.
Kate left Aaron with Claire's mom.
Yeah.
Right.
Before she went back to the island. But when they got there, they never told.
Why don't they tell her, though?
Because that's communicating. She had squirrel baby at this point. So.
You're right.
All Claire needed to know was like, we've got your child, just come with us. Like any other details, we're going to just send her off the deep end.
Aaron is fine. Aaron's because Claire wants to kill Kate, right?
Yeah, because she took the baby. But it could be solved by being like, yes, but he's with your alive mother, so everyone wins.
I think she would.
My mom's alive. My mom's alive.
Yeah.
But about the false hope thing, I think that Christian Shepherd, he tells Claire, there's hope and then there's false hope. Advocating for pulling the plug, when in reality, it was a good thing that they kept her in a coma, and because she did come out of it. And but then on the other side, on the island, you have Charlie being like, well, I don't want this to be false hope, Claire, about the birds.
Right.
Which kind of was, like the message in a bottle. But did that help her? Did that help her, cope with things that are going on? I would say yes.
Right.
So in a way, it did good. But there are some situations where false hope is not the equivalent of, hope. So
Carol asked, was it guilt versus hope?
Guilt in what way?
Guilt that what Claire was feeling, right? Because she feels she caused the accident, right? And she was driving. We now figured out she was driving. So was she hoping her mom would be better, or she just said, I can't pull the plug? Well, you can't do it anyway. But she didn't want to go with Christian because now was Christian saying this because he was footing the bill? It's like, okay, I can pay this for a while, but
probably, yeah. I mean, those it adds up after a little bit.
20, 30 years of this, I can't afford this. But, he seemed sincere, though. He seemed sincere when he was talking to. But go back to how would he know what she wants, what the mom wanted?
Sure. I mean, and he was also clearly wrong because he was like, she's not getting out of this. She's not.
Right.
She will not be fine. And she was. Yeah. Him paying for it, I feel like, is probably a large indicator of it. And he's like, this is a big stress on my life, thinking about this other family that I have gone.
And if you haven't seen your daughter in 16 years, it's been a while. Is that the conversation you want to have with your daughter? Again, that comes to Christian not knowing how to relate to people.
Yeah.
Right? Except Sarah, Jack's wife. Seem to have a great communication with her.
Yeah.
But to me,
he also got down there really fast. Now that I'm thinking about it. Real fast.
To Australia?
Yeah.
Oh, after the accident?
Yeah.
I was thinking more in terms of when he's going on his bender with Ana Lucia after he basically lost his, doctor's license and everything. And it's kind of telling that he went down there to see his daughter. Why then? Was his current family situation failing, which it was?
But it's also it's his place to get away. It's his other life. He can go, I don't need to worry about this job being gone if I can just go to Australia.
And maybe he did have feelings for Claire's mom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And maybe he did have feelings for Claire. I mean, he wanted, maybe he just wanted that connection. But again, it's a weird conversation to have with someone you haven't really had a relationship with. Yeah, you need to kill your mom. I can do it. I can put an air bubble in the tube or something like that.
But also, maybe it makes it easier to have that conversation if you don't have that relationship with them. Like
that's true. Yeah.
Like, we don't really know each other. I can say this to you easily versus like Jack. If he was like, "Hey, Jack, you got to go kill your mom." Sorry.
Yeah. And Jack's not gonna do it. Jack's gonna try and save her.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Christian's the opposite. I can't do it. I got to watch Carol Burnett.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Busy. got stuff going on. Yeah.
But I mean, to be honest, how many people do come out of comas for that many? How many years
Mm-hmm.
was she?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. I don't think.
No,
Right?
we don't know. Obviously, Claire, we think she was in her late teens, right?
Yeah. And then we assume she was in the coma, I think, through when Claire was on the island. So she came out sometime after that.
So at least a few years.
Right.
At least 3, probably.
Probably, yeah.
At least. So, I mean, that's kind of unheard of, I guess, unless you have the money to be able to.
And who paid for it after Christian died?
Maybe he set up a fund.
Okay, there we go. He had a GoFundMe page.
Jack's mom, I just kind of feel like she probably knew about that family the entire time, and she probably just knew, and she may have even just kept the payments going.
When she tells Jack, it's like, I think you're right, because she almost knew that why he went to Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't she say something like, "Your dad's always," or something?
There's something. She insinuated that she knew there was a reason why he always went to Australia, and I think she just overlooked it because that's what she did.
Yeah.
I do like the scene because they Kate figures out a way. We're going to climb over it, and that's when they go for the axe, and that's when they find the C4. Kate goes over it. She hesitates when she gets to the thing, but then goes over, drops off, and she lives. She's fine.
Yeah, she's good to go.
Sees a pile is a mess.
I feel like any of them could have been the first one to go over, though. Like, if Saeed had been the first one, you'd been like, yeah, that makes sense. If Locke had been the first one, you'd been like, yeah, that makes sense. It was the right trio.
I wrote down, I said, Kate is brave and is steadfast in searching for Jack. She was all like, I don't care what it takes. We're getting him back.
Well, she feels guilty. She left him behind.
Yeah, for sure. Even though he told her to go. But I feel like she's like, going as hard and as fast as she can to rescue Jack.
Because Locke really didn't care. Locke wasn't there. I think Saeed even asked him, "Are you here to help get Jack out, or what are you here for?"
Exactly.
And Locke really didn't answer him.
Mm-hmm.
Locke was just there to cause problems.
Yeah, he probably didn't have a real reason. He was just like, this feels like the best group of people to they're actually going to get stuff done, and I know that I can probably mess it up.
Because his life is better without Jack in it.
Yeah.
Because he, again, I point to that's why I think he was upset during this whole trip, because Saeed took over.
Yeah.
And it can't. People were coming to John. I'm the guy running the show, because Saeed was off, doing. Saeed was still pouting over Shannon, right? At this point, he's still out of the picture. But when Saeed gets back in the mode of, okay, I'm a soldier. I know how to, to lead and stuff like that. I think that's what really messes Locke up. Locke wants to be that guy.
I also Locke hates Jack, but Locke loves Jack too, because I think they butt heads easily, and it makes Locke feel alive. So being able to, he's like, oh, I can get Jack back and sort of return to that sense of normalcy in my life. Maybe was one of the reasons why he was with them, just to. Okay. He missed the thrill of the.
Or maybe accidentally shoot Jack or something. Maybe kill him.
Yeah. End it once and for all. Yeah.
I think he's just looking down at the ground, and whichever way the leaf points, he just goes that way.
Or maybe he went because he wanted to talk to Ben and get more out of Ben.
Sure.
And he felt used by Ben, and Ben did play mind games with him. So maybe that's why he went.
I think he was going to block any way on and off the island. They saw that little satellite dish at Mikhail's house, and boom. And then, of course, when he mentions a submarine, Locke looks over like, a what? That's not going to happen, and so, yeah.
And then we go back to the island. Desmond's walking, and Claire's following him. Desmond grabs the bird. The bird doesn't even move. Desmond just Desmond's a bird whisperer, and he tells Claire the truth.
Yeah,
that's where Charlie fell in. That's where Charlie broke his neck. He got smashed against the rocks, and Claire's like, "Okay, I'm cool with that." There was really no emotion, was there?
What point do you think you personally would just, when someone tells you some new insane piece of information, you're like, yeah, okay, all right? Because I feel like
I'm like, are we not at that point right now? Like in the United States.
That is fair.
In the United States, like breaking news, blah blah blah. Okay, sure. That probably happened. Yeah.
Plus you're on this island that everything is strange happening.
That's what I think. I would just give up and be like, yeah, if you say so, I believe
that. That makes the most sense.
Plus Desmond had said, he was right about the lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Swimming.
He backed it up with the facts.
With facts. So how could she? You think she'd be tearing up?
Well, yeah, he saved her from the ocean when she was about to drown. Yeah, I forgot about that. So why wouldn't she?
But she wasn't there to save Claire. He was there to save, because if Charlie went out there, he would have drowned trying to save her.
Right. Yeah. But she still knew of that.
Yeah.
Not about him trying to save Charlie, but she knew that, like, out of nowhere he came there and got her. So maybe it wasn't, that far fetched.
Sure.
And then we have a pregnant Claire. So now we know that she's just about ready to get out of the plane, right? She's getting close. Yeah. And tells her she was going to give the baby up for adoption. Then she, it's kind of sad. She says, "I wish I had, I hadn't, said all the things that I said to you." Mm-hmm. That's a pretty touching scene. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, that goes to where we all try to be careful. I mean, I do when I talk to someone. I don't want to leave it on a bad note, unless I don't like you. Then I don't care. But then Claire tells Charlie she's not giving up on him. She knows about what's going to happen, and I'm not going to give up on you. And Charlie goes, "Okay, that's cool, but I'm going to die. There's nothing you do." But they send the bird off, and he reads the letter that she's written, which I thought was really nice. Mm-hmm. And I think you mentioned, Caleb, a beautiful scene where the bird flies off with the other birds, and they're either going in circles or getting off the island or whatever the birds are doing. I don't know.
It's a touching scene, the montage of everyone sitting around and hearing him reading. Like it gets you back into Lost mode where you're like,
great scene with Lost. And then we go to Dharmaville or New Otherton, and they see Jack running, and you're thinking, "Oh, he's trying to escape," but no, he's playing catch football with Mr. Friendly,
with my boy, Mr. Friendly.
Yeah.
And Kate's like,
"What a good ending."
Yeah,
it's such a good ending.
And it's a good cliffhanger too. Like, what is he doing?
Yeah, I remember I used to read the press releases that came out for each of the episodes before they would come out, and it would have like the guest cast in it. Mm-hmm. And I remember like seeing that Tom was in that episode, and then the whole episode I'm like, where is he? Why is he not? I remember I was like obsessive, being like, this person's coming up, and this person's going to be in this one, and this one. Like, and then he shows up at the very end. There it is. Okay.
But they did shoot it because Kate sees Jack and she's all excited, and she starts running towards him. I think Saeed grabs her, and Jack isn't trying to escape. He's and you go, all right, what the heck is he doing? And I don't know how much, because back then they'd show a couple episodes, they'd be out for a couple weeks. I don't know if this was where they kept it going because it was the second half of the season. Remember, it was the second pod or whatever they called it. So I don't know if we were getting episodes every week at this point. So we only had to wait a week to find out, okay, why is Jack all happy? It hasn't been that long, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's only been like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no break. The next episode came the next week. Yeah, it really hasn't been that long. What's it been? It's been like less than a week?
Well, Ben...
Probably.
Is it the next episode or the Man from Tallahassee episode where we see him from Kate and company's point of view? Juliet's like rolling him out in his wheelchair. So he's at least recovered to be in a wheelchair after the surgery. So however many days that would take.
Yeah.
which the island heals faster. So can you go by that?
No, I just remember going, "Oh my God!" What? And that was, I know that was what was. Oh, I guess we had to. You said we had to wait a week, but it was like I remember people just like, "Okay, what's going on with Jack? Has he been brainwashed? Has he been? What did they put him in room 23? What they put in Carl?" There was so many theories going on, and it just turned out that he was going to go home, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Locke blew up the
submarine with Juliet.
Yeah. And I think that's why he was happy. I'm getting away. You know, Claire, Kate is with Sawyer now because that's what he believed, and he just said, "There's no reason for me to stay here anymore. I'm going to leave." Until Locke screwed that up,
which is fascinating because there's still so many people on that island, and like his whole thing was, "Oh, I'm gonna fix I'm gonna help all of you guys." And then they're like, "You can leave," and he goes, "Oh yeah, that sounds great. I'm done. I'm out of here."
You think he was
very
just
quick turnaround
at this point? I think this the scene, you know, because Sawyer and Kate have sex and he saw it. You think and saw them together, and he should think, and he loved Kate. There was no question that he loved Kate. You think at that point was just his breaking point and being the leader and just saying, "Okay, I can't do this anymore."
Well, you know, when Kate comes back to the camp, you know, he tells her, you know, "I will come back here for you." So I think he had a plan, like to commandeer the sub or get off island and make it back. Or I don't think he was just.
We got to go back, Kate.
Right. I think he was using it as let me learn the way off the island, and then I'll come back and get everybody type of.
Right. That could have been it.
That's a overall, big gamble, though.
Yeah.
Since nobody can find the island, you gotta wonder because they've been on the island for almost 90 days. I think they said like 80 something days, and nobody. Planes don't fly over. There's. I mean, nobody's coming to find you. So, anyway.
Yeah.
Also, think there was that great scene with Claire and Son, and Son's talking about her mom.
Oh,
how, you know, well, my mom would have never pictured me out here, you know, with the fish and everything. The worst thing that she thought I could ever do was marry, you know, be married to a fisherman. And, you know, Claire said, "I guess we don't always turn out how our mothers want."
Right.
And I was like, God, that's such a profound statement given the complexity of the parent issues within the show with every character.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, did we like this episode? I know at the time, the flashback was kind of, looking back on it now, it's like a flashback, but I think the reveal of Christian being Claire's dad at the time was a big deal. I think, but looking back at it now, you're looking at Claire, the reason Claire, you know, we're seeing this is because she needs to comfort Charlie while he's alive. That's why we're seeing this. But at the time, I think at the time it came out, it was a bigger deal than it was on the rewatch.
Yeah, I mean, I think seeing the pylons and getting back to Jack and the Christian thing, like there's enough like big, and her finding out from Desmond, there's enough big things in it that it feels like it should be an episode, but it's kind of a little fluffy.
Yeah.
Overall. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was my take on it.
I enjoyed Inter 7-7 more than I did this one. I mean, I didn't hate it. It wasn't like oh my God, I hate it. It wasn't Stranger in a Strange Land. Yeah. But it was a good episode. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't. I remember like I said, I keep saying at the time, it was a big deal because there was so much. Again, like we said, you had the end with Jack playing football. There was so much at the time when this show was. Oh my God, there's so much going on in the theories that you could come up with. And
I mean, the second half of season 3 is kind of like bang, 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 bang. Like there's so many all-star episodes that every week felt like, oh man, this is the biggest deal now.
And the way it ends too. We got to go back, Kate. Wait, what?
Yeah.
I think this pair of episodes really go well together. They probably could have even been combined into one,
right?
But because it's like a short island, you know, pit stop, you know, like this journey of, you know, them four, Kate, Rousseau, Locke, and Saeed. You know, they make the little pit stop at when they find McCall's house or whatever. But it's kind of like a mini journey, that they're taking to find Jack, and then they do at the end. So On Island is kind of this concise storyline, and you learn a little bit about the characters along the way, and you learn more about the others and things like that.
They came up with an end date, I think, and because early, if it's been like season 2, we probably wouldn't have seen Kate Said, Locke, and Rousseau for like 3 episodes, because they would have been dragging it out. But since they had the end date, they go, okay, we can continue this story. And like you said, Caleb, it could have been the same because the story continued.
Yeah.
And I think that made the episode a little better too, because we did get some answers anyway.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I think an annoying part of the rewatch is the fact that Desmond knows that Charlie's going to die, and at the time you thought, is there going to be a way around this? Mm-hmm. Is this going to be the moment when he does die? And that drags out to the very end of the season. We just talked about how long it takes Rousseau to see her daughter for the first time. So I guess second time technically, but it's a long time for the other to happen as well.
They probably didn't want to kill Charlie in the middle of the season, though.
No.
And they wanted to give him a great send off, which I think they did.
Yeah. Now I love the Greatest Hits episode. That's great. But I think it was like, okay, is he dead now? Is he dead now? Okay, well, he's finally dead. Okay, well, now we can move on from that, storyline. So
it's funny.
Oh well,
yeah,
poor Charlie. But anything else you guys want to talk about?
I don't know. I like these episodes. I like the episodes that are coming up. End of season 3, I think, might be my favorite run of episodes in a row. Right. I feel like from Man from Tallahassee through the end is pretty damn good.
Yeah, because the season started out kind of slow.
Yeah. There's the first 6 are a little iffy, but then you get to Catch-22, The Brig, maybe On the Curtain. There's so many A+ episodes that it's exciting. It's exciting.
I was just looking at it, and it's Expose, Left Behind, or no, The Man from Tallahassee.
Best episode of Lost.
Yeah, Expose, and then you have Left Behind, One of Us, Catch-22, DOC, The Brig, The Man Behind the Curtain, Greatest Hits, and of course Through the Looking Glass. So
the Brig is a great episode.
Yeah.
I love One of Us, the Juliet centric episode. I feel like it reveals. Well, I mean, it answered the question about the the pregnant women on the island, and then it's paired back to back with the DOC episode with Sun, in which we find out about that. So that's great, and I think when you find out Juliet getting to the island, it's just like, oh my gosh. So. You learn, and then Ben's flashback, like you said earlier, this season is, really the others, the other season. You find out so much, whether it's these small snippets of Miss Clue or Mikhail, or full flashback episodes with Ben and Juliet, and so on. Even early on, the first few episodes, Colleen and Pickett.
Right.
Yeah, I think this season and 5 are my 2 favorites, just because you get a lot of the Dharma and the hostiles and the others and all that stuff, and I just like seeing that stuff. That was always my favorite.
And the way they ended season 3 was, there was no way, I don't think anyone could predict what was going to happen in season 4.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't have a clue. I have no idea. I have no idea what direction they're going to go, because I don't even know if I'm going to like it. I remember saying that over and over again. I said, I don't know. Because I have no clue what. So I thought that was a great cliffhanger, because you had no idea. I mean, there were theories, but I probably 99% of the theories were not even close.
And it is funny, season 4, not to get ahead a little bit, but it feels like you're in the end game so early, where you're like, man, the show feels like it's wrapping up already, and then there's still a lot to go. But just them getting off the island and all that kind of stuff feels like, oh, this is the end of the show, and there's still so much more to go, which is great.
Did you think that season 4 was going to begin or continue the On Island storyline, or no?
I'm trying to remember what. I didn't really have an idea what. I just remember going, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I remember we were still podcasting because we were still getting, we'd do like a podcast every 3 weeks or something like that because we were still getting feedback, and there people would theorize. And I'm like, yeah, that's a great theory. I don't know. That could be. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things where, again, you could, after season 1, you go, okay, we're going to get something's going to go on with this hatch. Season 2, okay, there's something going to go. Season 3, I go, I have no clue what's going on.
Yeah.
No, because they did such a great job of the misdirection. And I'm so thankful I wasn't spoiled on the Snake in the Mailbox that when Jack says we have to go back, I had no clue what was going on.
I don't remember if I knew, because I used to like to read spoilers. I don't know why. It was just always, I liked reading it. I liked knowing where things were heading. And I can't remember if that got spoiled for me or not.
I got spoiled on the talked about it before, the expose, Nikki and Paulo being buried alive. I knew that before it happened.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I was answering emails, and Jay did the calls. I was playing some calls before the episode aired, and the guy goes, "Yeah, I can't believe that Nikki and Paulo got buried alive." I'm like going, "What the hell's this guy talking about?" And I go, but he was in Canada.
No.
He was in Canada, so he saw it early. He saw it, they were an hour early. I'm like going, "Oh, you got to be kidding me!" So
that stinks.
that, and then I knew that Locke was in the coffin because another podcast they had a board, like a blog type thing, and someone put it in there, and everyone said, "You better hope you're wrong."
Yeah.
But that person was 100% right.
Sure.
So I'm like, oh, great. I know that Locke is in the coffin.
I mean, so much stuff got out before the episodes aired. I remember you would just get full episode rundowns, which was fun for someone like me who's crazy and likes knowing that stuff, but not fun for others if it gets out into the.
Yeah, my wife loves spoilers. When she reads a book, she reads the end first.
Yeah.
And then I go,
wow.
Why do you do that? And it drives me crazy. I go, I don't, because I'll be watching a show that I've already seen it. She goes, what happened? I go, sometimes I tell her the truth. Sometimes I give her a misdirect. But sometimes I'll just go, oh, yeah. And she goes, you lied to me. I go, I just remembered it wrong. I'm sorry. That's how I thought it ended. But she likes to know exactly how it happens. She goes, I don't know. What if I don't like it? I go, but that's part of the journey. You have to,
write it out. Yeah.
34 years together, it's just kind of,
Well, if you didn't, if you were unsure of what happens after the season 3 finale, then what were your thoughts after the season 5 finale?
Same thing.
Yeah.
It fades to white, right? It goes.
Yeah. To me, I'm like, is there any other show that or final, season episode that ends with you don't even know if any of the characters that you've grown accustomed to for 5 years are going to be alive? There's nothing more epic than that.
Well, I know a lot of people said. I remember a lot of people saying, "See, they were dead the whole time." That was a lot of people. What people were saying because the explosion had to kill everybody, and I'm like going, I go, I don't think so, but. Well, there wouldn't be a point of having season 6. So, Anyway, well, this was fun. Good chat, guys.
Thanks for having us.
And thanks, Caleb, for joining us on a non-Juliet night.
Oh, for sure. Well, the first ones I did, I think so, were the two. The other 48 days, which was just the tail section, and then the Ana Lucia episode. So that was interesting. But I always loved the Juliet episode. So.
And Patrick, again, do you? What I'll do is I'll put a link of your video.
Oh, thank you.
I'll put it in the show because I did tell you that Jorge sent it to Henry and Cusack.
It's so funny.
And he goes, because I think Ralph sent it to Jorge.
Oh yeah.
And then Jorge sent it to Henry and Cusack because it was kind of his obviously it's his thing. So it's made its rounds with the Lost.
And truly, that's all I could ask for. I got a retweet from Michael G. Kino, which was
that's
a
great.
Awesome.
Yeah. Listen, who knows how much longer I'll be stuck in this apartment? So maybe more will be coming.
And if there's something you want to, if there's an episode you want to, just let me know, and we'll go from there. And I'll try to keep. Again, with Caleb, I got the wrong episodes, but it's good to see. It's good to talk to Caleb again.
I'm down. Any episode of Lost is great.
I was talking to Bobby Moynihan earlier tonight because he's from the New York comedy world, but he says hi and he says he still loves the show and he loves watching it. He's excited to watch this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he wants to say hi.
Bob, you know what, Bobby? I'm gonna send you a message and see if you want to join us.
There you go. When he comes on, let me know and I'll come on with him.
Okay. When he first sent something on Twitter. He goes, he says, big fan. I go, all right, who's this guy? I'm thinking like, and I said, Jay, did you get a message? He goes, I didn't get a message. I go, but then later on, Jay got a message, and then we had him on a podcast and talked to him. He's such a Lost geek.
He's the best. Yeah.
You sit there and go, but it's amazing how many different people this, again, like worldwide, how this show just affected people. It made us all geeks, and made it cool. We were all geeks anyway, but it made it cool to be a geek.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Geek was chic. Whatever you want to say.
That's a good one.
But I'll send Bobby a message after this and say, hey, Bobby, you can come on.
Yeah. I'm sure you'd love to.
All right, guys, that's it. I'm out of here. We're out of here.
Thank you so much for having us on here.
All right, it was fun.
All right.
See you next time.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.